Hello, welcome to Mining Now. I'm your host, Jerrod Downey, and today we have a very cool company on the show. They're the world's largest provider of commercial explosives and innovative blasting systems. But we are going to really be focusing on their digital solution side. But we have Orica on the show today, and representing them is David Reyes, my apologies. He is a senior manager at OzPac Digital Solution. David, welcome to the show. Good to have you on.
Thanks, Jerrod. Excited to be here. It's probably the first podcast I'm on, so
really?
I'm excited and a bit nervous, but looking forward to it.
Well, it took me about 200 episodes to not be nervous doing it. So that's probably not very encouraging, but but the nice thing about this show is we really are trying to focus in on what your knowledge base is. Obviously, Orica is I don't know if 20 episodes would even put a dent in Orica. So we've chosen a very specific side, their digital solutions. Obviously, that's your areas of expertise. So that's what we're going to focus on. David, could we just quickly give maybe your background? I saw you sort of worked your way up through Orica. You started in underground mining as an underground mining engineer, and then now you're the senior manager. Yeah, can you just walk us through a little bit about your background and then eventually ending up with Orica?
Yeah, absolutely, Jerrod. So I guess my background is at my profession, I'm an industrial engineer. So I'm originally from Chile, but I went to school in Purdue in the US. So no mining background at university. And then I started pretty much as a graduate with Orica. Actually, today is my 11th year with Orica. So it's been quite a ride. I started working as a graduate in underground mining. Absolutely loved every step of it. And then I worked my way through some of the commercial areas, still within underground mining. And then I finally was able to exit the graduate program, and I started my career as an account manager. And then it's been a bit of a couple years here and there, initially based out of Chile. And then I worked my way through the marketing team, and it was also explosives product manager for a while. And then with the family, it's going to be 4 years now that we've moved to Australia. So we're based out of Brisbane now, and I've taken this role of digital solutions, managing the team for Australia Pacific. And it's quite exciting what we're doing, and I know we're going to cover more on this interview. Quite novel and new for Orica, being an explosives giant and now fully invested into the digital world as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting stuff to cover in that. And before I do, I just wanted not to get too personal, but 11 years. On the show, we have a lot of people talking about when they're trying to find people in the industry that the mining industry is quite transient. And nowadays, when you see 11 years on somebody's LinkedIn, it's becoming less and less common because you're seeing so much.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's a reflection, one, of Orica and also your sort of personal focus as well. So what keeps you with a company for that period of time and sort of moving up through the ranks like you have?
Look, to be honest, it's a fantastic company, and I think it was key for me to join as a graduate because it allowed me to have different rotations throughout the company. Kind of not really sure what I wanted to do when I first graduated, but this sort of was the perfect fit for me. And Orica is such a, it's always at the high end of technology.
Yeah.
And it continues to invest a lot of the profits we make. So it just makes it a very exciting company. And it's just a very innovative environment to work with. All the people that you deal with and the customers and the problems that we get to, to work on it's just extremely exciting. So I've been around the sort of the core business, which is our explosives business. And then now for a number of years, we've been working on this digital solutions vertical, which is absolutely exciting, acquisitions, partnerships. So it's hard to find something like this. I guess there's not a dull day at work. So it's quite exciting how we can actually help our customers as mining gets more challenging. And that's what keeps me going and just very excited to be part of this digital revolution now in Orica.
Let's talk about our heavy industry tour brought to you by Savannah Equipment, supplying mining equipment worldwide, and Geograph, solving customer challenges through innovation and design, higher performing parts, engineered solutions, on-time spare parts supply, and high quality repairs. We are heading to events across North America and Australia and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsman.com to be part of Crownsman's Heavy Industry World Tour. Your partner in technical services, AMPS, have been industry leaders in technical services optimization systems and training since 2011. With a team of over 70 resource professionals, AMPS provides world-class support to mining technical services teams globally. AMPS builds the capabilities within teams on site to maximize results and unlock value in mining operations. With significant experience in operational underground and open pit engineering and geology, AMPS is passionate about delivering value to their clients across an array of professional services. If you're looking to improve your mine site's technical services, visit advancedmps.com or email partner@advancedmps.com today. Bentech Group is an industry leader when it comes to design, engineering, and manufacturing. Bentech specializes in engineered safety and efficiency equipment such as access platforms, heavy-duty workbenches, work stands and trestles, material and equipment storage, and a range of lifting and handling solutions to maximize safety for your personnel. But that's not their only area of expertise. Bentech also supply high-performance OEM replacement parts for mobile equipment. Bentech's rocks mining parts are built better, eliminating downtime and maximizing efficiency. Visit bentechgroup.com.au today to explore their range.
As you're working on the digital side, working at all these other levels of the company, does that provide quite a bit of help and context when you're trying to facilitate market entry and all the things that your role is? Do you kind of lean on some of that experience you've had over the last, well, you've been with this, so 9.5 years, you were in other segments.
Yeah. Well, look, absolutely. Like at the end of the day, you got to build some technical credibility, and it's what really matters, that when we're trying to solve a problem that a customer has, or developing a technology that's going to help a customer be more productive or more efficient, you need to understand, what's behind that, and that's what you can only get by being on site and actually having experienced those things firsthand. Digital solutions, our own segment right now, is very tied to the core business of Orica, which is really blasting services, explosives manufacturing, and we're pretty much today the world's largest provider of commercial explosives and innovative blasting systems. So it's very tied together, but you need that technical background to be able to talk to customers on a one-on-one and understand what they're really going through. If not, I don't think you would capture really the depth of the issues. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of when we avoid trying to go into problem-solving mode, but just really try to understand what's happening, scope it out, and then provide a solution for it. So yeah, I definitely lean on all that experience.
Is Orica, is the digital solutions, it's all interconnected, right? Because you said about their core business, but now I think a report came out that sort of reflects quite a bit of growth on the digital side. Can you sort of map that out for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, as I said, like our background, probably from 1870s, we're it's in our DNA to be blasters, and that's where our bread and butter, as they say here. But you have to think that Orica's pretty much doing 1,500 blasts per day.
Wow.
Around the world.
Wow.
So that generate an enormous amount of data, mm-hmm. From the blast design to paper load sheets to paper dip sheets. It's just it's too much data, and that's one of the issues that mining customers have today. They have too much data that is not used, and it in the form of paper, it just gets stored. So our core business is to provide services to customers. We have people on site, over 13,000 people around the world. And this is how we started looking at Orica Digital Solutions. So initially it was an internal strategy to help our crews perform a better service. So we had some tools, we had our blast design software and others. But then as we started seeing the increase in the need for it, and actually saw some additional value that our operations could provide to services that we were already giving customers, then that's when it clicked that Orica Digital Solutions, that moves at a faster rate, that's highly innovative, that partners with customers for different reasons. And it also gives us a new identity in the market. So Orica Digital Solutions is absolutely agnostic. we don't have to
that was my
provide
next
services
question.
on the ground.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that it's not just tied to your on the ground services.
Exactly. And it has to be, right? We don't want to have the Apple model. What we try to do at Orica Digital Solutions is to help our customers, whether they're Orica serviced or not, sustainably mobilize the Earth's resources. So how we do that is we focus in providing actionable intelligence in the form of foresight, so predicting what will happen, in the form of real-time or near real-time insight, depending on what the requirement is, or if it's an operational workflow, or if it's more something that's required in the sense of hindsight. So that's where we focus in, and it takes a bit, to be honest, to get that brand awareness out in the market, because still we have to work with customers that think the two are tied together, Orica services with Orica Digital, but they're not. And that's the beauty of what we're trying to do. We're trying to help customers all over the world, regardless of who their explosives provider is.
Revolutionize your mining operations with MassPro's engineering excellence. Their engineering talent can transform your mining machinery, supercharge your productivity, and improve your equipment optimization. Your success is their mission, and they're prepared to take your mining operations to new heights by maximizing efficiency, safety, and ore extraction like never before. Head to masspro.com.au for further information. Founded in 1989 in South Africa, the Bloemburton Engineering Group is a world leader in ventilation, refrigeration, and cooling systems for underground mines. BBE Consulting Canada, created in Greater Sudbury, Ontario, is part of the BBE Group of companies since 2016. Its services include mine ventilation and cooling system modeling, feasibility studies, detailed engineering, procurement and construction management, as well as site ventilation surveys, ventilation audits, and training mentoring for underground mines across all America. You can reach out to BBE Consulting Canada by visiting bbegroup.ca or writing to enquiries@bbegroup.ca. Also, watch out for BBE's upcoming episode on mining now. Hey mining enthusiasts, registration for CIM Connect 2024 Vancouver from May 12th to 15th is now open. Last year, this convention had over 6,800 participants from 60 countries, with 1,796 delegates, 702 booths, and 320 presentations. Secure your spot and register now at convention.cim.org. CIM Connect 2024, where quality and innovation define the experience.
Your R&D capabilities, though, doing, what did you say, over 1,000 blasts a day.
Yeah.
The R&D capabilities must just be astronomically beyond what a competitor can do because of your physical assets.
Yeah, look, Orica always is very proud to, reinvest a large sum of our profits for R&D. And that's typically been done in the explosives and detonator technologies. Now that we've sort of encouraged in this new digital solutions world, where we can also utilize that to leverage new technologies that haven't developed yet. Now, the most exciting part about this is with digital is kind of that high reward, low risk that we can offer customers,
right?
Versus, trialing a new explosive carries inherent risk, which it's manageable, but it's different. You have to mobilize people, you have to mobilize assets. So, with over 30 years of development that we've really been working on digital, today we have probably over 200 technologists, more than 60 software developers, all world-class, and we have several digital hubs around the world that are working to really deliver to our customers the innovative and integrated solutions that we can provide throughout the drill and blast chain. So today, I guess footprint-wise, it's quite we're going through that absolutely growth stage where 200 plus customers using our technology globally, and you got to grow at the same pace, right? We've grown our global support, so it is 24/7 and across over 100 countries. Because what we've found, I guess, with the software or digital solution side of things is, global support and immediate support when someone is trying to use, for example, your blasting design software, and it's becoming the bottleneck to get the ore on the ground. Well, that needs immediate attention. So it's been a shift on how we used to do things at Orica. It's also required new talent, new expertise.
Yeah.
But it's really exciting and refreshing to see we don't forget our DNA, our background in blasting. We actually leverage it and use it to develop new technologies for our customers.
I'm just wondering, I want to just clarify. Now, being brand agnostic, but I imagine that your operations on the ground are, of course, using the software. So is that software that you're using internally, is it the same? Or is this your digital solutions, are they adapted to be brand agnostic? So is there sort of this proprietary one, and then your sort of package one? And even how do you package something that, with Orica being so tied to your roots, then how do you repackage it to be brand agnostic? I know there's a lot in that question, but I'm just trying to sort of understand it for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's the path of least resistance, right? Like obviously the customers that have Orica services and products will always be the first ones to use our digital solution suite. But at the same time, you'd be surprised of, once we're getting our brand awareness out there, and there are key technologies within our digital solutions portfolio that are really changing the game. So there's pull for that. And what that does for us is it pretty much, the branding is exactly the same, whether it's an Orica site or a non-Orica site. So it's really about delivering the same experience. Now, the benefit that I guess an Orica site has is that we got people on the ground. So there are specific technologies that will enable us to take it one step further. So you have to remember that the drill and blast, or blasting itself, is the largest lever that any customer can pull. It doesn't probably go over 10% of the whole mining cost, but it can definitely have an effect on the remaining 80% on the downstream process.
Right.
So if you have an Orica crew that's using our software and at the same time is willing to drive the optimizations that arrive from the digital solution suite, then you're going to maximize the result. Not that it cannot be done with a separate crew, but it's different, right? If we have a competitor running the services, they might be leaning towards having their own sort of innovation and technology. So it's definitely, when you have Orica crew, it can go a step further, and you usually have more buy-in from the customer as well. But the branding is exactly the same.
David, I want to get into the sort of a partnership section, because I'm sure there's a lot of collaboration that goes into this. But before, I want to talk. Safety is just always seems to be, and which is a good thing. I almost saying it like it's a negative thing. It's always coming into the discussion as such a key part across the industry, and hopefully that just increases over time. On that side, is there, in your suite on the digital side, is there anything you're offering on that one particular?
Absolutely. Look, safety is paramount, right? There's nothing more important than safety. And look here, what we've seen this last couple of years with Orica Digital Solutions expanding is one of our products, particularly ORPro 3D, which is a great control blast movement tool. This has really hit the mark for customers in Australia, in North America, Latin America, and a lot in EMEA region at the moment. So initially, it's what it's really superseding is the current practices of grade control, which require someone from the mine site to walk through a blasted muck pile. And to us at Orica, that's an extremely dangerous process. It should never happen. There's been serious incidents following that. So ORPro 3D not only allows customers, and the main feedback we're getting from customers is, we love it because no one has to walk the muck pile anymore. It is accurate enough for us to perform our grade control practices. And at the same time, since this uses a drone to capture the post-blast topography, so we actually can show where the ore and where the waste have moved to, we then got into a new module, which is our ORPro 3D Predict, which really does a simulation of where the ore is going to end up without needing to use the drone. And this was exactly because some customers can't fly the drone sometimes because of weather. Some don't even have a drone. which is a bit surprising in 2024, but that's just the way it is. So this suite particularly has built on the fact that no one should ever be walking the muck pile, and now they can do the same, achieve the same results by using software, whether that's in a reactive workflow or a predictive workflow with the 3D suite.
I want to get a little bit more, it's sort of zooming out, but staying with it, is just how much the technology has changed. I mean, we've done episodes about cameras, sensors, like the software that's now being used in blasting. Can you even just try to outline for us? I mean, you've got something, I was on your website, it's called the integrated extraction simulator. That looked quite interesting, a little bit beyond my some of the words there I didn't couldn't grasp, but just trying to sort of put it all of what's happening in the space together.
So I guess how we've structured our portfolio to try to match the requirements of our customers is we've subdivided it into 4 areas.
Okay.
The first one being ore body intelligence. So where we try to enable customers to gain accurate insights into their ore bodies, pretty much, and make, informed decisions with data-driven informed decisions is what we're trying to do. And then we have our main suite, which is the blast design and execution, has a lot of overlap with our Orica footprint as well. And this is providing that intelligence at the right time to optimize the blasting outcomes, safety, environmental performance, you name it. And then we go, once the blast has happened, how do we, what you were mentioning before, sensors, cameras, pretty much what we call measure and monitor, automated technologies to deliver that precise and reliable information so we can continue on this virtuous cycle. So that this piece right here is key because it's what triggers the optimization cycle of drill and blast.
Right.
And then at the very end, we have probably our more powerful and novel technologies, which are mine simulation and optimization. So this is where we aim to have something like IES using all the data in numerous individual processes to provide a powerful end-to-end simulation. And then you can optimize the entire value chain. So IES is it's one of the newest technologies we've sort of have in our portfolio. It stands for Integrated Extraction Simulator. And what it's doing today in the industry is it's probably changing the game in a number of ways, but mainly allowing customers to run what we know as mine-to-mill projects, which have been run years before IES and other technologies were around. But now you have something to leave with the customer to action that continuously. So what that means is a mine-to-mill project is usually very focused on the people. And it's focused on getting a lot of data from different places, optimizing blasting to get increase your throughput on the plant. And IES pretty much creates a digital twin of your mine and the plant. So you're able, with a couple of clicks, to model whether you have constraints on your plant, like a whole line or a part of your crushing or comminution circuit is down, or pretty much to model how do you optimize your current processing plant. So you have to remember that the processing plants, the comminution circuit, the mill and flotation, everything downstream, we're talking about billion-dollar assets.
Yeah.
So IES is an extremely powerful tool that enables customers to look at these scenarios before having to invest in the CapEx, or even, and this is a challenge with IES, is it even necessary to invest in new assets when you can actually, again, pull your largest lever, which is blasting. So it's been very exciting to see IES take pretty much through the market. It is something that we're still working with a lot of customers because it's a cloud-based platform, but it's that fast and accurate simulation of every step in the mining value chain that it's almost like unbelievable. But that's because in the background you have thousands of models of complex mining and processing scenarios that are just generating parameters to optimize performance, and they're built on real-world constraints. So each piece of equipment in a processing plant is now embedded into IES. This is what we call a flow sheet. And this has a mathematical model that defines its productive capacity, whether that's because of physical engineering or the characteristics of the ore that are coming in. So these models are developed on a global basis and by technical experts from research institutes, university, equipment manufacturers, etc. So it is powered in the background by what we call it is a digital twin. We call it a richly featured digital twin of the processing plant, but it has an integration also of physics models, which is quite novel in this space. So you can do short and long-term scenarios. You can simulate, create virtual sensors. And look, I'm happy to share, we've also won a couple of awards with IES not too long ago. The National iWords Merit Award for the technology platform. And we're also runner-up in the with IES last year on the most innovative companies list. So it is absolutely game-changing technology. And to be fair, now that we're starting to put it more in the hands of customers, is that they really challenge the status quo about how things are done, and they're starting to find other uses for it, which is even more exciting than what I guess initially we had planned for.
And I've had different onboarding discussions on the show about onboarding different solutions and different softwares, and one of the questions, it's always a tough one to answer, but if we could be as specific as possible, because I really am curious about this. The day one, let's say someone wants to onboard IES. The day one, and I'm talking about like an operating mine, maybe mid tier. Their day one discussion versus a month in versus 6 months in. What is that process of actually getting this on board? Because I always think when we do these interviews, the capabilities are amazing, but there's the other side of the customer listening to this going, okay, what are our next steps? What are expectations? Maybe they've got Orica already on the ground. But just can you sort of paint a picture of what a client can really expect in these different tiers as they start? You mentioned 4 areas, and we can cover all of them if you'd like, of just what their expectations should be in this onboarding process.
That's a great question, because essentially what we hear about today is all these fantastic technologies out there, but there's also the ease to implement. And what I usually like to cover with customers, and I use the word, is it usable? Yeah. Can you really harness this behemoth of intelligence, and can you change something on your site? Is it going to really deliver the value for you? Because in some sites they have other conditions, and there's probably some practices that won't allow them to. So in those 4 areas, there's definitely different levels of ease of adoption. There's what we would call initially, for example, in our blast design and execution, it's more about introducing the digital workflows on site. So whether that is our Blast IQ and Shot Plus blast design tools to doing QA/QC and having just extra controls and making sure that what the engineer has designed is exactly what goes down the hole in terms of explosive. Or our FracTrack, automated measurement system, which is a stereoscopic fragmentation image analysis sensor, which really gives then the automated output of what was the performance of this blast, let's say. So it uses particle size distribution as a proxy to quantifiably evaluate how good was this blast in reality. So those to me, and obviously there's less barriers to input something like that. It's quite clear cut. You do some training. We provide our customer success program where we scope out the solution. Pretty much your basics of how you go around managing this change management. So I think the change management at this level with our blast design and execution portfolio is still very manageable. Then we started going up because it's almost like a direct relationship, right? The more change management required, usually in this space, will yield you higher value. Not in every case, but when we go down something that what we're trying to do with Orica Digital Solutions, which is provide an end-to-end workflow. Well, that requires some change management, right? It's
Right.
a relevant amount, but then that's also going to give you the highest reward. So if we go the next step from there, we go to what we're using today, our great control software, Board Pro, which is really revolutionizing the game, not only by safety, removing people from doing manual ways to identify where the ore and the waste have ended post-blast. We're doing that with software with a high accurate degree of precision. And this is absolutely changing the game globally. Not only in like gold operations, we have lithium customers using, we have copper, iron ore, and it's growing at an exponential rate because it's revolutionizing what the practices are today. So this is a geology tool for geologists. Some of them still see it as, oh, look, this is show me how this works, because my practices are more of actually, finding out where the ore has gone. And once they're convinced that we can prove that value to them, then it's absolutely going at the speed of light. So the change management there is a little bit more, because you're going, we're pretty much trying to solve old school mining challenges with new technology. And that's almost like what we're trying to aim for with Orica Digital, where what's the issue on site? Let me show you if a technology exists that can match that. If not, let's develop it together. So that's kind of the third level. And then the final one, back to your question, IES requires a bit of a more change management if the changes are to be implemented, though. Because at that level of simulation, you can run as many simulations as you want, but it's really up to the customer then to, implement those changes in the blasting design, on bench, or even in the downstream process. So all of the tools that what we see the uptake with digital being, giving us that 100% growth, is because it's high reward, independent if it's, just getting rid of paper and putting tablets for loading, or improving your grain control practices, or saving you millions of dollars because you're not having boulders dumped into your crusher detected by this fragmentation camera in real time. Digital is really just giving that high reward to different stakeholders, and that's the key. You deal with the mine, you deal with the geologist, you deal with the processing team, and the funny thing is that they don't really talk to each other much, and they can be in the same operation, but they have different targets. Some are internal customers of others, the mine being internal customer of the plant. So they have different, at times, completely different targets. So we need to have high rewards for each of them that are easy to digest.
It's a very good answer. I wanted to clarify something that you said about the IES system.
Yep.
It kind of sounded like you were getting at that the onboarding of the program, the software itself, is not challenging. More in that particular software, it's more the change management and what the operator actually chooses to implement where the challenge is.
Correct. And look, that's the thing with digital as a whole, right? Like, the value is there, it's on the table. And sometimes if we have an Orica crew on site, we can help customers capture that value. If we need to redesign our blast design, we can help with that. It's our group. But with IES, we're talking a lot bigger numbers in value that we're talking about, what we're finding. If there's a bottleneck in the crusher, how do you optimize that, or increasing your throughput in the mill? Millions of dollars, obviously, depending on what ore we're talking about. And that requires a bit more work and a bit more fine tuning. So we're not talking that they need to buy an additional mill. They have what they need to do, or how they can optimize the process and their bottlenecks by looking at IES, which has built a digital flow sheet of their entire mine. But then it's, let's get to work, and how do we really capture that value? That can be more of a challenge, not because they don't believe in the value, but unfortunately, as you can understand, the production is always king in the mine. And there's, as we like to say, there's nice to haves, there's must haves, and then there's production. And it takes, and this is why we really value those customers that sort of foster the collaborative innovation approach with us, because they're prioritizing the use of these technologies, and some actually, standardizing and say, okay, this is the norm of how we're going to operate now, and we need to capture this value in the continuous cycle. So it's not just sitting there on the table and they're sort of looking at it. They go all the way through, and that requires commitment from the customer side of things.
It's something you said at the beginning, that the digital solutions frontier is it's an area where there's still a lower risk with a big reward area, and those kind of opportunities are obviously, as an industry ages, those become less and harder to find. So it's quite interesting. David, we could go on, of course. It's so many of these episodes. I find, especially lately, I'm not even sure what's happening. It just seems like we put these little tiny dents into the giant topics. But I do appreciate you coming on and taking the time to walk through it. It's quite a privilege for me to be able to sit here and just get educated about and have these conversations. So I really do appreciate your time.
No, thank you, Jerrod. Look, to me, again, it's great to share a bit of, again, tiny bit of what we're trying to do with Orica Digital Solutions. It's quite novel for us. We almost have that entrepreneurial sort of spirit.
Yeah, you get that sense.
There, talk to customers. Yeah, it's exciting, and that's what keeps us going. And no, just thanking you and the team for the role that you do on sharing this knowledge with the wider audience. I think that's also what we need. Look, hopefully we can be in another episode and chat a bit longer.
I hope so. Yeah, there's lots to cover. And I was just going to say, is it okay if we put your LinkedIn in the description? Because I ask questions, but I'm sure there's people that are screaming like, can you? This is the thing that I need to know. So if it's okay, I'll put your LinkedIn in the description so that people can reach out to you directly with any questions that we missed.
Yeah, no problems at all. Yeah,
David, thank you very much. Hope to have you back.
Yeah, great to be here. See ya. Thanks for everything.
And thank you, everybody, for watching. I know that we covered a lot of ground there. We will have some links to Orica and specifically to their digital solution, and also to their IES system is on their website. That's nicely laid out. So we'll have links to all of that, and a link directly to David if you want to connect with him. Thank you for watching. Thank you to our sponsors and all the supporters. We will see you on the next episode of Mining Now.